Coming up on today's episode, Brock Lesnar versus Tyson Fury at WrestleMania 36 appears to have been scrapped, and backstage morale in WWE is unusually high. Laurie recaps last night's epic episode of NXT, and Luke sails in with a recap of the turbulent episode of AEW Dynamite from the Jericho Cruise.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk stacked news and stacked reviews. I did the other hand that time. I am Chopper Pete Quinnell. With the Royal Rumble this Sunday, we really are on the road to WrestleMania, and what better way to celebrate this joyous time of the wrestling calendar than to talk about how the show itself is completely up in the air still. It's been previously reported via WrestleVotes on Twitter that matches for WrestleMania 36 are like the participants inside a cage match with a door that's opened upon request, not locked in. One WWE insider even went so far as to say that they have never seen it get to this stage in the year with so few WrestleMania plans in place. And now one of the rumored matches for WrestleMania 36 has seemingly been scrapped as well, so we're none the wiser of what direction things could go on Sunday. Tyson Fury hasn't been seen in WWE since the SmackDown after Crown Jewel, where he formed an alliance with Braun Strowman and negated the entire story they've been telling up to that point. He did promise a return at some point where he and Braun would tag together. However, plans for Fury for WrestleMania were not set in stone. One of the rumored matches for him at the pirate-themed show was against none other than WWE champion Brock Lesnar, which is one of the most WWE things I've ever heard. All you have to do is Google Tyson Fury WrestleMania 36, and almost every result is an article about how it's going to be Lesnar versus Fury. However, that now appears to not be the direction they're going. On the Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer had this to say of the situation. "I was told that's a no. I was told that specifically. There's definitely something because Tyson Fury wants to do it, and they want Tyson Fury, and there's a match, you know? So for all you Tyson Fury fans who want to see him attempt to run the ropes in WWE again, I know you're out there somewhere, you can rest easy because it still looks like Fury will be competing at the show of shows, but just not against the current champ. Which then begs the question, who would he face? Cain Velasquez? Now that would be awful. The Undertaker? Oh, that's even worse. No. The Fiend Bray Wyatt? Oh, no, shoot me. Actually shoot me if that happens. That is woeful. Even though WWE want Fury there, and Fury also wants to compete at the show, that in itself still may not be set in stone based on what happened in Fury's actual real boxing match against Deontay Wilder on February 22nd. In a tweet from the ever-reliable WrestleVotes, they state that lots of speculation regarding Tyson Fury and WrestleMania. Source said his fight at MGM Grand versus Deontay Wilder on February 22nd is crucial to him appearing in Tampa. If Wilder wins, Vince isn't throwing dollar at a guy who just lost on a pay-per-view. So to a degree, the ball is in Fury's court. The wrong sport there, WrestleVotes. This isn't baseball. So it looks like we may be waiting another month before we find out what's happening with a boxer at a big wrestling show, because the scripted show depends on whether the boxer can win in an actual unscripted boxing match. Wrestling! This also then begs the question, what's happening with Lesnar? Will a Raw guy win the Rumble and challenge him? Or do they already have the Rumble winner pegged to be a SmackDown guy, so the Fiend's plans are in place, but Lesnar's are still up in the air? I don't know. Nobody knows. Not even they know. But something that backstage personnel in WWE will know is how happy they're going to be going forward. That was a weird segue, but bear with me on this one. It was recently announced that TNT will be extending their deal with AEW to go through 2023, adding an extra 4 years on their current deal. While this was seen as a massive success to AEW and a bit of a failure for WWE, that may not be the case for the wrestlers themselves within WWE. Interestingly, a report from WrestlingNews.co stated that sources had told them within WWE that backstage morale was high in WWE at the moment because of TNT extending AEW. But why would they be happy about their supposed rival company getting a better TV deal? Well, I'm glad you asked. Me, because with the mere existence of AEW, it's forced Vince McMahon to offer his talent more money and be more flexible with working dates, which gives the wrestlers employed within the company, although technically still not employed, much more bargaining power. So everyone is happy as Larry backstage. AEW and WWE are one big happy family. Maybe Vince Russo was right all along. But on that weird ending, it's time for the NXT recap with Laurie. Segway hot tag.
The Dusty Classic finalists have been set, tensions boil over between the Undisputed Era and Imperium, and we have a new North American champion, and he is limitless. It's time for the NXT review, and by God, what a good show it was. Because it opens with the Dusty Classic semi-final match between the Grizzled Young Veterans and Undisputed Era, which gave me a bit of a semi, and also had the entire era coming out together, draped in gold. Like the last time. Prophecy schmophecy. The match is a hot start to the show, with Kyle and Bobby working over James Drake's knee following a dragon screw through the ropes. Now, if you want a showcase of the fundamentals, this is it. It's two well-oiled machines clanging together for our entertainment. Now, we've been warned in the opening promo package that Imperium were in the house, which is H-A-U-S, because Germany, Australia, fascism, and they make their presence felt just as UE seemingly have the whole contest locked up, because the athleisure crew is in the crow's nest distracting Fish and O'Reilly long enough for the vets to hit Ticket to Mayhem and just steal the win. We then get a Shotzi Blackheart promo package to set her up for her match with Shayna Baszler later, and she says she takes care of business because she's got big cojones. Ooh, a matron. Next up, Toni Storm took on Io Shirai in a fun little match that had the unenviable task of building both Worlds Collide and Takeover Portland, which are about 2 weeks apart and really hard to set up. It means that we don't get a proper finish. Instead, Bianca Belair jumps Toni as she goes for a suicide dive, then beats her down, asserting her dominance, saying that she's the EST contender for the title. And that is until Rhea Ripley comes out and makes the save. It then ends up as sort of a four-woman brawl, with Toni as the last woman standing and holding up the NXT Women's Championship to a very mixed reaction. It was like, when she came out, all the fans were like, amazing, it's Toni, I love her, I love her, I love her. Then when she held up the belt, it was sort of implied that she might beat Rhea Ripley, and everyone was like, well, hold on now. Put that down. And I kind of feel like this finish means we're either heading for a fatal four-way or some sort of triple threat at Portland. Then, after an Ilya Dragunov promo package, Finn Balor beats the flies off a feathered insect Joaquin Wilde. He nails him with a 1916 while saying, if you come at Finn, you better not miss. Which sounds really cool and all, but it also kind of sounds like he wants it all because he's a dirty girl. Shayna Baszler then tells Kathy Kelly that Shotzi Blackheart didn't make a statement last week, tipping her out of the Battle Royal. She ended her career prematurely before it even started. Blackheart then proceeds to further her career by taking Baszler to the absolute limit in a Battle Royal callback-focused grudge match that's good times all round. Which includes a sliced bread number 2 onto the apron. Blackheart's big old cojones really helping her generate the downforce there. Unfortunately, she flubs a senton and taps before passing out in the Kirifuda clutch, but this made her look like a star. We are then told that Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai will fight over who gets ownership of the one good knee next week, kind of like they were the Fates in Hercules, just sharing a patella. The Broserweights then managed to upset Imperium in yet another top quality match, which, tellingly, didn't feature any actual involvement from Undisputed Era, which sort of makes Eichner and Bartel look a little silly in light of what happened in the earlier Dusty Classic match. Matt Riddle also had these cute little braids like he was some sort of Brovarian milkmaid. A face-off with the vets then followed, and Riddle somehow turns into Towley as Gibson mentions joint manipulation. Don't forget to bring a towel. The finals of the Dusty Classic are next week, and not at Worlds Collide as I was kind of expecting. That's a weird one. Then it is main event time, and this one was proper ball. Though I think a promo package heading in recapping the events of last week would have helped the story to really sink in, because Roderick Strong tried every trick in the book to fend off Keith Lee, up to and including cheating, but also plenty of joint manipulation. Calm down, Riddle. Calm down. You almost blinked there. Keep it in your pants. Roderick Strong was working over the ankle that he injured last week, but Keith Lee manages to fight off all of the Undisputed Era on his own, and he seals the deal with a fireman's carry jackhammer to become the new North American champion. It is about damn time. But the show actually ends with Imperium rushing the ring to slap the tits off of Adam Cole, and in a big old pull-apart brawl. Have they adequately set up Worlds Collide now? I don't really know. But what I do know is that the in-ring action last night was aces, the title change was boss. We're just still stuck in that awkward phase of setting up 2 different shows just 2 weeks apart. So this gets a low 4 out of 5 from me. Undisputedly good, but it could be better. Over to Luke for AEW now.
Thanks for that developmental review there, Fakeador. But it's now time to not only get elite, but to be the king of the world on a boat like Leo. Because if you're on the shore, then you sure aren't Mio. This is the 22nd of January 2020 edition of AEW Dynamite on a motherfucking boat in about 4 minutes. And it looked awesome. The crowd were hot, the set looked unique and different, and every commentator wore an appropriate shirt. Even Jim Ross. That's better, Jim. And we kick things off with the AEW Tag Team Championship match of Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus SCU. I think it's fair to say that Sky and Kazarian didn't get over to the level that AEW wanted them to be as the tag champs, which is a shame as their in-ring work is next level great, and they worked brilliantly with Page and Omega, leading to some excellent counters and near falls before Page broke up the SCU later, tagged himself in, wiped out both Kaz and Sky with buckshot lariats, and won the match essentially all on his own. But before he could celebrate, the Young Bucks got in the ring to celebrate alongside him. Page told them to hug Omega, and he jumped into the crowd where he celebrated with them instead. Later in the show, when being interviewed by Tony Schiavone, Page was interrupted 3 times when trying to give an answer. Once by an overexcited Omega, once by Tony wanting to ask Omega about his feud with Pac, and once by overexcited Young Bucks. Page said that he was surprised he and Omega won the belts before the Bucks and left. In each of these segments, Page nailed his performance. He tells you everything you need to know about this story through his facial expressions without the need for words. This is hands down the best thing in All Elite Wrestling right now. And if it wasn't for Seth Rollins killing it as the Monday Night Messiah, I'd make the argument this is the most captivating story in wrestling. And the brilliance is that Omega and the Bucks aren't being dicks. They're just excited to celebrate with their friend. They just don't see that it's pissing him off. I just love it so much. Britt Baker quickly dispatched to Priscilla Kelly in a match that was mostly ad break, heelishly grabbing Kelly's hair to make her babyface comeback. Baker then got great heel from the crowd by calling Shivani a shirty barista from Starbucks before he joined AEW. This was good work from Baker. Inner Circle beat Jurassic Express in a really fun match, which had awesome comedy moments from the very over Marco Stunt. Jurassic Express are a fantastic team and work so well together, and the crowd was super into them winning, popping huge for Stunt's near fall off the 450 on Jericho. But Le Champion picked up the win with the Judas Effect elbow. MJF beat Joey Janela after distractions from Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford.
That is a beautiful name, Penelope.
And then cut a promo on Cody saying he would be the last chapter in Cody's story. Cody came out for a rebuttal, but MJF brilliantly dropped the mic and kicked it away from him. But Cody reminded him that while he can't touch him before Revolution, the Young Bucks can. And they super kicked the little dweeb and threw him into the pool. I'd like to think that was for MJF calling me bald on Twitter. And the main event saw Pac take on Jon Moxley for the #1 contendership to Jericho. This was a really good match, but as was reported by people on the boat, the crowd were distracted by another ship pulling in and blocking some of the view, meaning the crowd got into a chanting argument of fork your boat and this boat's better, rather than focus on the excellent in-ring action. But there also seemed to be a bit of miscommunication later on in the match, and Mox finally won after hitting 2 paradigm shifts. He will face Chris Jericho for the AEW World Championship at Revolution. So that was this week's AEW Dynamite. In about 4 minutes, vote in the poll above my head to let me know what you thought of the show using these options on screen. This was a really great edition of Dynamite. The in-ring action was awesome, the tag title change was brilliant, and the character work being done by Hangman Adam Page is forking phenomenal. This week's AEW Dynamite is a high AEW sum. Adam Blompier is returned to wrestling YouTube, so you'd better click the video to find out more about that. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon pledge hammers, some of which you can see scrolling their way into my stomach. I've been Luke Owen, and that was wrestling.